My name is Ben Jaja. Comedy's what I do. I'm going to be more vulnerable, so I relate to you. Sometimes I'm feeling lonely, sad, mad, angry, depressed, lazy, scared, anxious, reluctant, fat, dishonest, lousy, poor, worthless, stupid.
Marshall in the middle.
My name is Will Marshall. Interviewing's what I do. I talk to Ben Jaja and we have fun with you. I talk to Ben Jaja. Ben Goldsmith, Heroes I Know.
Me too.
Ben Goldsmith, Heroes I Know. You love it, man. So I have been watching Dumb Owl now. Like, I think I'm your biggest fan, dude. I do. I've like every video. I'm planning on how we're going to do the sound bath. That is my absolute favorite. I love it. I love it.
Oh, that makes me really happy to hear. I think the only other biggest fan of Dumb Owl other than you is maybe me. I'm a big fan of what we've been doing. So it's nice to meet another big time fan.
Oh yeah. So tell me, tell me a little bit more about you. Where you're from? When were you born? All that kind of stuff. Do you mind?
Yeah. Well, I was born here in Los Angeles, and I grew up kind of bouncing around. I was in Marina Del Rey for a little bit, Studio City for a little bit, found my way to La Cañada. A little bit about me is I grew up I was really overweight. I was like obese as a kid. Like my pediatrician one day showed me a chart and he's like, see here on this chart, you're up here in this obese area above, very overweight. And I was like, what, why didn't you show me this like sooner? And so I grew up as this like super, super heavy kid and kind of got bullied because of that. And I also wet the bed every single night until I was about like 14 years old. So my mom kind of framed it quite severely one day. She asked me, Ben, do you think it affected you wetting the bed every morning? I said, of course it did. And she was like, well, did you think about it like you woke up into failure every day? And that's the moment that I realized my life has been every day waking up feeling like I'm this like negative thing in the world, creating a mess, creating a problem. And so the rest of my day was all about how can I earn back my the value of my existence, essentially. And so that's kind of I think why I fell into comedy, because I used comedy as a defense mechanism when dealing with people that were bullying me or making fun of me. I'd kind of quickly, disarm them with either making fun of myself so that they thought it was funny, or the second you say the same things the bully says, they don't want to say it anymore. So I kind of used comedy as my coping mechanism. I used it to kind of defend myself from kids that were a little bit bigger than me. And then I also wet the bed and felt like, well, if I got to go out there and be with people and make people happy, make people laugh, make people's days a bit brighter. And if I do that, then my existence will be okay.
Wow. As a chronic bedwetter as a child, I relate to so much of that. Thanks for sharing.
Wow. Yeah.
So I had a very similar experience as you. I wasn't overweight, but I wet the bed till I didn't think I was ever going to grow out of it or whatever. But I'm not sure that it affected me the way that it affected you, though. That's really interesting. But I did have some bad effects from it for sure. No doubt about it. So tell me, what's your favorite joke? You have like a go-to joke all the time, your favorite?
Oh man, do I have a favorite joke? Oh, that's such an interesting question, because I feel like I do. Well, in one of my stand-up sets right now, my favorite joke, I have a favorite joke right now, which is thanks to my girlfriend, because my girlfriend, I love her and she's gorgeous, but I like to say that my girlfriend's like a Ferrari that dresses like a dykey minivan. And every time, I mean, it's only hysterical because if you saw her, if you knew her, you'd be like, yeah, that's exactly right. And she would say the same exact thing. But what I've always been like saying is like in life, you know, everybody's always looking for like tens. You know, they're trying to find like, oh, I got to be with a 10. It's like, no, find a solid 7. All right. A 7 will love you and take care of you. 10s are always worried about themselves. So find yourself a solid 7 and wrap your arms around and never let go.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
So do you remember, you talked about like having like troubles. Do you remember being bullied, you know, like by one particular somebody?
Yeah, quite a bit. I think there was this one day that everything kind of changed. It was actually like the cool kids in my grade that I was trying to, you know, pony up to. And one day we were all like hanging out in John's backyard. Let's just use the name John. We're hanging out in his backyard, and they had airsoft guns, you know, like the ones that just shoot kind of pellets. That we had airsoft guns, and everybody would go around kind of like shooting each other and stuff like that. And this just one day they kind of like trapped me on the trampoline, and the trampoline had like the enclosure around it. So I couldn't really get out. And so they just kind of like took turns like shooting me. And like that was the day I was like, you know what? I can't tolerate this kind of treatment. I can't allow this to happen. I'm not gonna allow this to happen. And that was kind of the day. I think I was maybe 13 years old, but I think that was the day I decided that, you know, if I don't stand up for myself, no one's ever going to stand up for me. And so I just like at that moment, like got my way out of the trampoline. I think I started crying and I got myself out of the trampoline or something like that. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'll see you guys later. And then as I was walking away, my friend John was like, oh, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. And then I was like, it's okay, whatever, just, you know, whatever. And then I walked away, and then he took out the gun. He was hiding it behind his back, and he popped me in the back of the head with it. And so I think that was the day that I just kind of like saw that like the cool kids weren't so cool. And, you know, I just gotta choose who I want to spend my time with better, and surround myself with, you know, people that wanted to have fun, but not at the expense of other people's happiness, you know.
I'm considering doing something that I haven't done before. Can you tell me about the first time you ever got on stage to do stand-up? Were you scared?
Oh wow, yeah. I'm scared every single time I perform, even today. That's what I love about it. You know, what I love about it is that it's getting up in front of a group of people who are expecting you to make them laugh, and then following through with that is one of the greatest joys I can ever experience. You know, I think part of the reason why I love doing stand-up is because I get scared every time, and I push through my fears, and I push through that challenge of, you're gonna embarrass yourself, they're not gonna laugh at you, a whole number of things you'll tell yourself before you perform. And I think it's that crossing over that challenge and pushing through it that fills me with the most, fulfills me the most, because it's like, you know, when I hit the stage every single time and I feel the lights on me and I've got the microphone or my guitar or whatever I'm doing that night, like I know that's exactly where I'm meant to be. So it's interesting, because it's kind of like, you know, the devil, if you will, is the one that's telling me don't do it. And then you know, it's when I get out there that I know, like, that's exactly where I'm meant to be. Thank goodness you didn't listen to that part of you that said don't do this.
So is that a big baby, Taylor, I see you playing?
Yeah. That's my big baby. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's my favorite. I love picking up my big baby. Here, I'll play a little song real fast.
Yay!
All right, and this is thematically on point with everything we're kind of talking about. So this is a new song that I wrote to kind of like it's funny, but it's also just like kind of a little tune about who I am and why I am the way I am. Hopefully other people relate to it. So it goes like this. Okay, it goes. My name is Ben Jaja, comedy's what I do. I'm going one more time. My name is Ben Jaja, comedy's what I do. I'm going to be more vulnerable so I relate to you. Sometimes I'm feeling lonely, sad, mad, angry, depressed, lazy, scared, anxious, reluctant, fat, dishonest, lousy, poor, worthless, stupid, pathetic, empty, despondent, hopeless, lethargic, lugubrious, simply put, uninspired. I laugh it off. I'm a silly kid. I'm more than the pain I've acquired. Be grateful for your health, your family and friends. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ben Jaja, but you can call me Ben.
Yay! That's awesome, man. I love it. Ben Jaja. Where does that come from?
You know, that comes from my passwords in my computer. Benjamin is, you know, Benjamin, and then I just would go Ben Jaja. So now that everybody knows my passwords, go ahead and hack me all you want. But it was my password for a long time. And so I just thought, you know, why not use that as a little bit of a handle, and with kind of, you know, how things are changing to having a lot of people have gamer tags and different kind of names that they use for their kind of online alias. I thought it was fitting. So I used Ben Jaja.
I love it. I love it. Tell me a little bit about, first off, I'm in love with Audrey. Okay. Just straight up.
Oh,
just the way it is.
Oh my God.
Okay. I love her. Yeah. I bet she is such a hoot to hang out with. Right.
Yeah.
And you have all these other cast of characters around you, right? You got Mike is hilarious. Leah, tell me about these cast of characters you got around you.
Wow, what a great question. This is what a good question looks like, everybody. Okay, just right here, so you know. This is a great question. The cast of characters are they're all people that I've either performed with or saw performing, and thought that they had something really kind of special to offer. And not that every performer doesn't have something special to offer, but sometimes you see people shine a little bit in a certain way. And the way my mind works is I'm always trying to think of, you know, different ways to collaborate and bring people together and have us all kind of shine together so that we can make something really, really sparkle. So Audrey and I were performing stand-up in Los Angeles, kind of at like, not the main clubs, but at like the side clubs on like Monday nights and stuff like that. And we got to know each other. And I actually brought her on to, you know, when Audrey was performing, what was interesting about Audrey was I was like, this girl is like the exact opposite, like the same and opposite as me. Like, I'm kind of a guy I like to hug on my X chromosome and hug on my Y chromosome as a guy. I'm like a little bit more just in touch with the feminine as well as my masculine, and that's okay, you know, if you are or not. That's just who I am. And so I thought Audrey was really in touch with her masculine, and so I was just like, Audrey, we would make a funny little duo together. You should come into Dumb Owl and jump in. You know, you're hysterical on stage by yourself. And you know, I kind of saw like a Chris Farley in her, to be honest. Like, I was just like, this girl's like Chris Farley. So, and Chris Farley was one of my guys growing up who I loved, kind of inspired me to do comedy. And so that's how I met Audrey. And then, you know, Big Mike, he and I were on an improv team together at a theater in Los Angeles. And so we got to perform with each other every Friday night doing improv comedy, which is like, you know, making up stories on the spot and being in them together and playing characters and whatnot. And me and Mike just always just hit it off. I mean, we just kind of have a give and take that is just really it's really supportive of one another, and really kind of like we understand what each other's going to kind of do next. So not only that, but like, you know, Mike's a little bit older than me, and I thought it would be really funny if we became kind of a comedy duo just with our age difference, just because you always see kind of comedy duos are around like buds the same age. And I just thought it'd be really funny to have two guys that look like one guy could be the guy's son, or, you know, maybe brother or something like that. So Mike and I have been working together on a lot of projects. We've got Mike and Ben and Friends, or Mike and Ben. And he's been kind of a steady friend throughout all of this. And then you mentioned Leah. Leah and I actually were boyfriend, girlfriend for some time. We dated for about 3 years, and we met each other at a restaurant we were working at here in Los Angeles. And so Leah, I was starting Dumb Owl with the show Hickory Dunks and the Three Bears. I was already making that show. That was our first show that I was putting out on Dumb Owl. And then I met Leah, and I kind of fell in love with Leah the moment I met her. And it was her wit and her humor that really just kind of sent me to the moon. And so when I met her, we kind of hit it off, and we're kind of like quickly falling, I think, for each other. And so I asked her to be in the show Hickory Dunks and the Three Bears, to play my romantic opposite in the show. And she agreed and did that. And then sure enough, we ended up kind of falling in love and moving in together. And it was then that we, you know, I've been so focused, you know, I want to, it's not that I want to, it's like, I believe I'm going to host the Oscars. It's a very strange belief of mine, or aim of mine, or goal. It's very ambitious. And it's a really weird thing to just wake up and believe that I'm going to do that, but I believe I'm going to do that. And so everything that I do in life is kind of guided by this belief that I'm going to host the Oscars. And the reason why I want to host the Oscars, or believe I am, is because I believe I can do it better than I've seen people do it. I just believe that I'm kind of I'm like a song and dance and comedy man. And I feel like hosting the Oscars is exactly what all of my talent or skills I've developed would lead to. So I started making a show with Leah, Lovers United, and it's a show about kind of what it's like to be in a relationship where, you know, yes, you're together and in love, but you mostly hate each other all the time. And I thought that was funny how, you know, when we fall in love with people, we quickly, or over time, just start to get on each other's case a bit, and everybody starts to get upset with little small things that wouldn't ordinarily matter in the large scheme of life. And so I thought that was funny. So we made Lovers United to try to do that, and show what it's really like. So it's interesting because Lovers United was doing really well on its own. It was actually starting to kind of climb and grow, and got its own fan base. And, you know, one of those videos has around 200,000 views, and, you know, the others have somewhere in between there. But it got the attention of a gentleman that works over at 20th Century Fox. And at the restaurant, actually, I was working at the restaurant, and this guy says to me, "Hey, Ben, you're funny, man. What's your deal? What do you do?" And I was like, "Hey, well, I'm a comedy guy, but here's my card." And I gave him my Dumb Owl card. And a week later, he comes in with his family again, and his kids are quoting some of our lines. And he's like, "Hey, man, you got something really funny here. I'd like to bring you into 20th Century Fox. We could chat." And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds something like that I'd like to do. So then we start going into 20th Century Fox and having development conversations with this guy, JD, who was the head of development at 20th Century Fox. Not a bad person to run into. And so we would, every 3 to 6 months, we would meet with him, because I'd go in there and I'd tell him about all these ideas, and he'd say, "Okay, this is the one. We love this one. Now go find some element of it that's human that'll make more people connect with it." And I was like, okay. So then we'd go back home, and I'd work, or write the pilot, write the what, you know, kind of what we wanted to put out there. And we'd have a meeting set on the books for like 3 months, and then those 3 months would go, and kind of then they'd push the date until 6 months, and then we'd finally get in there again and be like, "All right, Johnny, here's the thing. It's da 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 da." And he's like, "That's great, but now we're thinking we want this to be a network show. And if it's going to be a network show, it has to appeal to everyone, 10-year-olds to 90-year-olds. You got to be able to grab them all. So what's one thing that makes everybody what's one thing everybody has in common, no matter their gender, race, creed, religion? And I was like, okay. So then I went back home and thought about that. And the answer that I came up with for that one was that we all want better. No matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we all want better, whatever that means. We want a better house. We want a better car. We want a better partner, or girlfriend, or wife, or husband. We want to feel better. We want better wherever we're at, no matter how things are, how good they are. So I came in there with that, and all of a sudden he's looking at me and he goes, okay, so we want to buy the show. We're going to find you a showrunner, and then we're going to make it. And I was like, okay, what? Like, come again? And it was kind of like this dream come true moment where he's like, yeah, we're going to take Lovers United. We're going to find you a showrunner. Here I am in the meeting thinking I'm the showrunner. But he's like, no, we're going to partner you with somebody who's had a bit more experience, and you can learn from them and stuff like that. And I was like, great. Let's just do it. And then 20th Century Fox was bought by Disney a week later. Which changed just everything. So, you know, not only were whatever deals in place gone, but, you know, now they have to change over who their development team is. And so it kind of fell through the cracks right when Disney bought 20th Century Fox. So that's my little Hollywood story of getting close to something that would have been really, really good. But you know what? I keep on going and know that the right things are going to happen in the right way. And you know, me making my comedy videos now is kind of a dream come true already. So whether it's 20th Century Fox, Disney, or somebody else telling me that they want what I'm doing, just me doing it on my own is what's going to fill me with the most joy. So I just keep doing it.
So you're getting ready. It's the big night. You're hosting the Oscars. What are you wearing that is interesting?
Roller skates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be on some roller skates for some of it, doing little dances and roller skates and whatnot. You know, a couple falls here and there, you know, just a couple prat falls, but roller skates, definitely.
Oh, I love it. I've got these couple of roller skate ladies I watch on TikTok.
Yeah. That's totally a thing.
Oh my gosh. So, tell me about how you guys started playing guitar. By the way, I have a Baby Taylor. I've got a GS Mini. I've got a 316 CE. I've got a J45
Ooh.
Gibson. I got all kinds of guitars like crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Will.
Yeah.
Guitar. So I started, when I was a kid, I was playing like the violin. All right. And then I got fat. And then I was like, well, now I'm fat. I got to play the bass guitar. So I started playing the bass guitar because I was this fat kid. And I thought that's what you did. And so I started playing the bass guitar. And then after some time playing the bass guitar, I thought I needed to get a guitar just because I know that I love to sing. And the bass guitar is way harder to sing and play bass at the same time. So I got a guitar and started teaching myself how to play guitar. And when I was like maybe 15, 16 years old, I started. And by the time I was in college, I was already writing songs and making up melodies and whatnot that I wanted to sing to. And what's interesting is now I feel like, you know, I could just write music and play music, and that would fill my cup full. I love music and I love singing, and I love singing from inside and letting it come out. So that's something that I feel like I could just do, but it's because of my interest in comedy over the years that I just started writing more comedy songs on the side. So it's like I have real songs that aren't necessarily funny, and then I have a bunch of comedy songs that are funny and, you know, are made to kind of you know, make you laugh and make you smile. And so I've got both things. And so I just, you know, every day I pick up the guitar and make sure I play it, because it's weird. Part of this vision of hosting the Oscars involves like, you know, right now I'm in the phase of, now we have a lot of online content that's there, but now I'm in the process of writing feature films to buy and sell and put out into the market, because, you know, and, you know, just like, let's say the Gordon sound bath video, right? Like, just to make that video, takes tons of coordination, effort, collaboration, people's energy, good writing, good everything to make that happen. And so instead of just putting it out for free and giving it away and putting it out and clenching my butt together, hoping that something's going to go viral, you know, that's not really a good business plan or business model. And so I just felt like all this energy I'm putting into things I'm giving out for free, I might as well start focusing them in on feature films, which is something that's much more easy for people to invest in, as well as much easier for people to buy as a product, you know. So I definitely am focused on creating these feature films. And one of the feature films, or what I should say is 2 out of the 3 feature films that I'm currently working on, they're music, you know, they're music films. One of them is a biopic about the band Sublime, which I grew up kind of listening to the band Sublime and kind of fell in love with Bradley Noel and their music and his singing. And that's how I modeled my singing after. And so, and my best friend growing up, Chet Bentley, his uncle is the bass guitarist in the band, which I also think contributed to me playing bass guitar. So I'm now making these things, and I feel like what I'm meant to do on my track to host the Oscars is make feature films. And when I'm able to act in them and be in them, I'll be in them. When it's not the right fit, I'll have other people do it. But innovating musical filmmaking is something that I want to do. So whether that's in biopics like Bohemian Rhapsody or you know, Almost Famous, things like that, make films like that, and then also make films that are, you know, not musicals, big, loud, in your face musicals, but more subtle music, more like, you know, because like, Will, you've got guitars, right? So I imagine you pick up your guitars and sometimes you're just playing and you just start singing and it comes out naturally. It's like I want to show more of those moments in life and in filmmaking, and more of the moments when we're just alone or maybe with somebody and we're just kind of singing from our soul, and it feels like it's not forced by weird circumstances. So yeah, so I was playing the bass guitar, then regular guitar. I think we're on that. And then musical filmmaking is what I want to innovate. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
All right, so let's get back to the Oscars real quick. All right, you have a choice on who your co-host is going to be. You have to pick one male and one female co-host to let them choose who it's going to be. Who are you going to pick?
Okay. Well, I got to bring in my boy Mike Gantz. Michael Gantz would be a great co-host. Our repartee and our back and forth, you know, I kind of take a little bit of the lead a lot of the times, which is fine. That's just kind of my personality. And he just plays right off and fits into the nice pockets that we create. So he's there with me. And then female, you know, I gotta say, Audrey Stewart is up there because she's right here right now. And not only that, but if you start following her career and her as a entertainer, you'll see that she's doing big things already. She's young. She's like, I think like 26 or 27. And she is already headlining big shows out here in Los Angeles. And she's definitely taken the world by storm. So, you know, maybe it's Audrey. But already I feel like that's three too many white people. So maybe it wouldn't be either Mike and Audrey, and we'd go for somebody with a bit more diversity so that we can represent the world as it is, and share some of the spotlight. You know what I mean?
I love it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So was there a time maybe when you got in trouble or you did something you shouldn't have, or you had to pay the consequences in some way? Can you tell me about a time like that?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was in college, I remember this one time I went to UCLA, and I remember this one time there was a football game at the Rose Bowl, and we were tailgating and having a great time outside of the stadium. And when it came to game time, I didn't have a ticket. and I really wanted to get into the game. And so I remember I went up to somebody that was working, you know, at one of the gates, on one of the like exit gates only. And I go up to her and I'm like, hey, and I start kind of like throwing on some waterworks. And I'm like, hey, my girlfriend's in there. She's really drunk. And I want to just make sure she's okay. I need to get inside and be with her. My phone said, her phone said something's happening. Will you let me in? And she let me in, and I got to go watch the game. Then later the next night, I was having dinner at my mom's house, and I was telling her about this, and I was like bragging about it. And I was like, oh, Mom, you should have seen me. I used my like superpowers to like get what I wanted. You know, I was able to like fake cry and like, you know, act my way into the stadium and get to my seats. And I was telling her all about this in this like very braggadocious kind of way. And she was like, you're proud of that? You're bragging to me about the fact that you lied to somebody and you manipulated somebody to get what you wanted, and you made somebody concerned about something that wasn't happening, and you took advantage of somebody's humanity. And I was like, ooh, well, like, yeah, but I also got to watch the football game. And I just remember like in that moment kind of learning that like what I'm capable of doing in the world is big, and I've got powers, and I can use them for good and I can use them for bad. And if I use them for bad just to get what I want and just to do the things that I want to do because heck, I can do it, well, then I think that I'll compromise a great part of my soul, which needs to stay intact if I'm gonna shine the way I want to shine in comedy, if I'm going to uplift people the way I see myself uplifting people, and if I'm going to be a leader of doing the right thing in the world, which is something that I also aim to do. Well, then I can't jeopardize my word, and I can't jeopardize my integrity at any moment, at any time, for any reason. So I learned at that moment that, you know, the old Spider-Man saying, you know, spider webs are great. No, the spider web saying, which is, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And so I definitely feel that, you know, if everybody else in life wants to get ahead by doing the wrong thing, well, that's for them to do. And they're going to have to, you know, meet their maker at some point, and that's with themselves, and that's their choice. But my choice might always be a little bit harder, might take a little bit longer, we might get there, but it might not happen as quickly as we thought. And if we never get where we're meant to go, then the journey on the way there will be all worth it, because we'll know every single day that we've been doing the right thing, that I've been making the right choices, and that you know, I can go to bed at night or wake up each morning knowing that I'm the human that I've always wanted to be. So that's a story about where I learned a little bit of some consequences.
I love it. I love it. Thanks for sharing that. Look, I watched one of your videos the other day, and I'll tell you at a time when you weren't using those principles very well.
Okay.
Tina and Fina left Mike out on the Trump girls. I'm telling you, man, you made me feel bad. I was like, wow, come on now. She wanted to be a part, right?
Oh my gosh, Tina and Fina and Peggy Ann.
I mean, that was pretty mean of you guys. I mean, she was really, now she couldn't skate that good. She wasn't quite as pretty as you guys were, but you know, hey.
She really wanted to be part of us, and we didn't let her in. Oh, you're right. That was doing the wrong thing. Oh man, that day. So the sketch that Will's talking about is this sketch that we made a long time ago, part of Venice Beach Originals, called Trump Girls. This was back before Donald Trump's first time in office, or his only time in office so far. I grew up here in Los Angeles. I went to a liberal arts college. We're quite liberal out here, and I live in Venice Beach, which is, as you know, like very artsy and liberal and whatnot. Now, a lot of tourists come through Venice Beach, so me and my buddy, we dressed up in bikinis and kind of like thong bikinis with wigs on, and we were like Trump supporters, and we went out to the boardwalk, and wow, it was insane out there because we thought everybody would see that like we were kind of doing a little bit of a joke, but people thought we were like full like Trump supporters, which now if you're, that's fine. Whoever you believe in is fine, and that's good. And you know, we're all gonna figure this thing out eventually. But it was just crazy because we had people thinking that we were really supporting Trump. And out here in the Venice boardwalk, you've got a lot of you know, tourists. You also have a lot of gangs. You also have a lot of different people that are you know, different sorts. And so people kind of gathered around us and started blaring like music, and it was crazy. That was a very, very wild day. We definitely pushed the envelope a little bit on that day. That was amazing. I'm so happy you saw that one.
I laughed and laughed. I must have watched it 3 times. It is absolutely hilarious. It is absolutely,
my favorite.
Your outfits, your costumes are just absolutely out of this world, and y'all are roller skating around. It is so funny.
It is so ridiculous. My favorite part of that video is when Mike playing Peggy Ann says like, I feel like we're like a trio, you know, like kind of like Larry, Moe, and Jack, you know, the Pep Boys. We're the Trump girls. Oh, I thought it was so, like, he's so funny. The way he just looks at camera sometimes is just so funny. I mean, he's truly, Michael Gantz is somebody that's just funny if you look at him. You know, that's funny.
One of your other ones that I just love is where you uninvite Mike from the wedding.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it just breaks your heart. It's just like, oh my gosh.
So what's crazy is Mike and I, one of the things we do is we DJ, host, and MC weddings. I mean, like, that's one of my side businesses, and that's something that he does as well. Coincidentally, like he only works for me sometimes or with me sometimes. He's doing that in his own sphere. So we thought this was so funny. Like, as COVID happened and like the pandemic shut down all these weddings, like I was out of work for a full year. Like all of my work for a year was taken just right off the map. And you know, we as painful as that was for us to kind of deal with, I thought like, wait, this is so funny because people have to now call their friends and uninvite them to their weddings, not just if they're canceled or postponed, but if like they need to have a wedding and they need to like have like less capacity, you might get cut from somebody's wedding, you know? So I could just imagine the phone call like clients of mine had to do where they're like, hey, so we're still having the wedding. You're just not invited anymore. Like, I just thought that was so funny. And so I'm glad you brought that one up because that one is actually like one of my favorites. And there's some little Easter eggs in there that are actually pretty exciting. So you'll notice in that sketch at the beginning, when Mike calls me, I'm playing the symphony in D, the thing that is played mostly at weddings, the when brides walk down the aisle for yeah, I'm playing like a wedding song, practicing for their wedding in the video. So he calls me and he interrupts me playing something that I'm preparing for their wedding. So there are all these little details in that one that really make me happy because, you know, yeah, we're making these things at home and it's just like, you know, I'm in front of the camera, but I'm also somehow behind the camera as well, filming everything. So like, you know, what I like to think is that we make really good content. It's just like not a lot of people knows about it yet. So it's so cool to like that you're in here on kind of like the, you know, this early stage because you get to see all these things and we love them and it means so much to hear you say, Will, that like one of your favorites is Uninvited. What about Peggy Ann? I'm like, oh my gosh, like you really have watched a lot of this stuff, and that really makes me really happy and fills me up a lot. So thank you.
Absolutely. take me, if you don't mind, to your creative process. How do you get the idea into some kind of form? Are you a writer downer? Are you a typer? Tell me about the process.
Yeah. So it starts with something that just makes me laugh. And it's usually something that I laugh about out loud. It gets a good solid laugh from me, or something that just takes 5 seconds to really just laugh through. So it starts with that. Then I try to capture whatever made me laugh like a fish in a net. I just try to immediately go, all right, that's good. So then I go and I turn to either one of my many journals that are around where I can write something down, get it off. I'll put it in my phone, or I'll even text Mike or whoever I want to play with in the moment and be like, hey, I got a good one here. It's about this, so that we can remind ourselves, because, you know, a lot of the times we have great ideas, and every day we'll let 20 of those great ideas go right away because more ideas are coming. So I like to capture them immediately. Another thing I do is next to my bed, I have a journal as well, because sometimes it's right when I'm falling asleep that I'll maybe get some of the best ideas. It's right when I'm just too tired, like right when I'm about to fall asleep, and I kind of jolt myself up and like, no, Ben, write this one down. Because whether it's a beautiful song lyric or a song idea, or whether it's something that kind of makes me laugh like that, I always think it's nice to capture that moment and then take it to like the team. So whether it's Mike or whether it's Audrey or whoever I'm working with, kind of take it to them and let them have the idea and play with it, because they'll come up with great ideas as well. And then I'll script it. So I'll write down and script it out. And because I know that I'm usually the one that's going to direct it and shoot it, I can script it in a way that, like, I know that the script is really just a blueprint for me to shoot it in the way that I'm seeing it. And so if I think of any like angles or certain ways that we want to show what's happening, I write that down, and then the script acts as like a really nice kind of ledger for how it's going to get executed. And then really, it's about following through, because, you know, every day I have anywhere from 10 to 200 ideas that I think are good. And the ones that kind of keep coming up and keep flicking me in the ear are the ones that I know need more attention. And I also have to understand that any idea that I give attention to, I'm saying no to another set of 200 other ideas that I'm saying, no, not you. I got to focus on this one because this is the one that's inspiring me right now. So my kind of advice I like to tell any creative or creator or person who wants to explore more of their art and more of their artistic side is follow through. It's hard work to follow through. It takes discipline to sit down and work a lyric over and over again, to the point where you're then editing out little tiny words that you don't need, that are taking up space. It takes work, it takes effort, it takes focus, it takes discipline to actually get over that huge mountain of creativity and get something out on the other side. Like, for example, a great one that I'll share with you is Bad Math. Is a song that we is like a music video that we made. And it's funny, we just had a show last night or 2 nights ago where we performed Bad Math on its feet for a live audience of about 60 people, and it was awesome. And this song Bad Math is all about the times in life where you do bad math, and you say to yourself in those moments like, ooh, that was bad math, I didn't do that right. And it's just like a weird quick moment that happens to all of us, whether we're at the grocery store and we're kind of like doing mental math, or we're doing a tip for somebody in the restaurant industry or something, and we're trying to do, 20% of 85 quickly in your head. And it's like, well, that's hard. So Bad Math, for example, is a song where it's literally just each line is a new math equation, right? And it seems very simple, right? Like, oh, they're just math equations over and over again. But then it starts to unravel, and it becomes more about life situations where you're doing bad math, where you bought a boat, that's a bad, that's an investment. That costs money. That costs money over time. Sure, you're having fun with the boat, but in terms of your finances, they're taking a hit. So they're different. So we then, like, you know, unravel the math equations and turn them into life situations. And like, I'm telling you, it's crazy because we have maybe 16 different math equations in the song, but that we're sitting down and we're like, okay. Is it one egg left in the box, or is it, you know, when you got your eggs and you're making eggs every morning and all of a sudden you wind up with just one egg?
That was my favorite line, by the way, from it. That was my favorite. I loved it. I just watched it. I loved what you did with the lighting, and the video of it was really, your cuts were really good. I enjoyed that video. I did.
Thank you. Yeah, that one was so fun. And I remember I even hit up Mike. Mike will tell the story better than I will, because he'll be like, yeah, man. He like called me one day and he's like, hey, I got one. You know, it's about bad math equations and I don't know how it's going to work out right now, but it's just really stupid and silly, where it's like 2 + 7 is 12, you know, like different things like that. And he's like, I don't really get it. I'm like, no, you'll get it more. But like, we just wrote a second verse to that song. So everything you see in the video, that's just the first part. Now we've got a second part. And let me tell you something, the second part, I didn't think it was possible, but it is funnier than the first. And we just put it on our feet the other day and we got really, really good reactions. I'll tell you a couple of them in the second verse. It goes, why don't I just play you the second verse? Can I play you the second verse?
Do it, please. Yay.
Okay, so this is the second verse of Bad Math, the second verse, all right? 5 × 10 is 20. Bad math, bad math, bad math. 3.14, delicious. Bad math, bad math, bad math. 8 + 7 + 6 is blackjack. Bad math, bad math, bad math. 44 pesos, porque. Bad math, bad math, bad math. 9 more minutes to snooze. Bad math, bad math, bad math. I just moved to San Francisco. Bad math, bad math, bad math. 99-cent store produce. Bad math, bad math, bad math. Gave away some of my Bitcoin. Bad math, bad math, bad math. Then I sold all of my Bitcoin. Bad math, bad math, bad math. Then I bought back half my Bitcoin. Bad math, bad math, bad math. Now my Bitcoin ain't worth shit. Bad math, bad math, bad math.
Oh, thank you so much. That is so cool. Original music right here on Marshall in the Middle, Heroes I Know. Ben Goldsmith, man, it's so good to be with you, man.
Will, thank you so much for having me. You know, it's not every day that we find people in the world that are committed to making the world a better place, and they're actively doing it, and they're called into some action about it. And to have found you and to have met you the way that we met, you know, just by online stuff, and you know, me putting out, hey, let me help you out with this YouTube thing because I'm looking for income because my wedding business, you know, it's just like finding you or finding each other is always part of our journey and meant to be. And you know, the second you were telling me about what you were doing, I knew that you were somebody that has been called to action and is on your path. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm just very grateful that you saw me as somebody that you wanted to include in Marshall in the Middle and what you're doing. And I just feel very touched, and I'm very, very grateful. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Take a minute, if you don't mind, and tell me a little bit about your patriotism. I'm sure you're patriotic, as most Americans are. You know, you may not have served in our military, but you know, is there something that stirs you patriotic? You know, are you a firework guy? I mean, you know, is there songs that really get you? Tell me about your patriotism.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I've been so removed for so long from I've been very removed from this country, it feels. I've grown up in Los Angeles on the coast, and I've been here my whole life. And yeah, I've traveled around the country and I've gotten to see certain places, but I haven't gone everywhere, and I haven't met the people of every city and every town. And I just feel very detached, and it's hard right now when thinking about the world and where we are and what we're born into here in America, because I live in a place where it is okay if I want to get in a thong bikini and run outside and play music. It's okay to do that. That's not a freedom that everybody has to do. And sure, it might rub certain people the right way or the wrong way, but having that freedom is something that, sometimes I think I take for granted. To have the privilege of growing up and getting to be an artist, and being okay being an artist, while working side jobs and living in a place where we don't have gunfire flying past us. We're not constantly threatened by bombs or terrorism. And it's peaceful, I mean, for the most part, other than these kind of school shootings that are happening every day, which is mind-boggling to me, that we have this problem going on in our country right now, and we're not doing more to address it, I think is a little bit upsetting. But that being said, I think I take my freedom for granted a lot of the times. And I think going to other parts of the world and experiencing other cultures and what it's like will help keep me in touch with my patriotism a little bit more. I'll tell you my favorite thing to do. I think my favorite thing to do that connects me with my patriotism is hanging out with my father and going to baseball games with my dad. Baseball is such a great way. I've always gotten to connect with my father. I grew up playing baseball. And when we go to baseball games and hang out, there's nothing easier to do than have a good time and watch the game and hang out with my pop. So I think that connects me the most to my patriotism. Hearing the Star Spangled Banner in the beginning is always a fun time, and I always love singing along. And actually, I think singing the Star Spangled Banner, that might be my answer, is when I sing the Star Spangled Banner, I think that's when I'm truly connected to this country more and being a patriot. And, it's a beautiful song, and it represents a lot of what our founding fathers and our founding countrymen went through to create this place where we can all be free to express ourselves and be ourselves. And, whatever that means for each and every individual person matters, and I think that, sure, we've got some problems. Nothing's perfect in life. In fact, I've removed the word perfect from my lexicon of vocabulary that I use, because there ain't no such thing as perfect, and there shouldn't be. So I think that our country is a beautiful place that allows everybody to truly live the lives that they want to live. It's just up to them to go make it happen. So I'm grateful to be an American. I'm proud to be an American. Yeah, I'm just really happy that I know that there are people out there like you, Will, that have taken the time to defend this country and to put their lives on the line, and to do it just for the sake of doing it, for the sake of making this world better and making our country safer, to help people like me go out there and get a laugh every once in a while. We're all working together in somewhere.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Do me a favor and brag about your family for just a couple minutes. Do you mind? I heard you mention your pops. Tell me more about your family, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So I've got a brother out in Colorado. His name's Jeremy. He's a great guy. He roller skates around the lake out there in Denver. And if you ever see a guy having too much fun on roller skates, you'll know that we're related. He's a great, beautiful man who he's a cartographer. So he makes maps. And what's funny is everybody's like, yeah, haven't we already done that? Isn't there like Google Earth? Don't we have that covered? So Jeremy's out there working for National Geographic, creating maps. He's a magnificent, funny, friendly guy who, if you meet him, is just about making sure you feel loved. So he's there. And then out here in LA, I've got my dad who's in the Valley, and he's a great guy who's just wanting to help make the world better however he can. And then my mom, she's my rock star. She's my home, and she's the one that really kind of set me on a path of righteousness, because without her, I would have gone into different things at different times. So I really owe a lot of my kindness and a lot of my compassion to her, because she's the one that taught me the hardest lessons, the lessons that aren't easy, the lessons that sometimes make your kids want to go away from you because you're being strict or a little severe. So she's my pride and joy, and I love her very much. And I guess the message that I'll send out to everybody is call your mom or your dad and let them know you love them, because every time I'm eating dinner with my mom, I'm just like, hey, how many more of these do we have? I want to just be present as much as I can, because life goes by fast, time goes by even faster, and if we don't slow down and feel it, it's gonna go by even quicker. So that's my immediate family. And I have an uncle, Bruce, who my uncle Bruce passed away this last year, and he's somebody that has just shown me what it's like to love everybody, no matter what they look like, no matter who they are, what it is they're interested in. Everybody is worth loving, and everybody has got something to show you. So I miss my uncle very dearly, and today is his anniversary of his wedding with his wife. So I'm going to give her a call and let her know how much I love her, my Aunt Joanne. So I've got family. They're scattered around, but I love them dearly, and I'm grateful for them.
So you've talked about a couple of screenplays and different long or projects that you're working on. Tell me something else you're currently excited about. What are like when you leave and get off this call, what is it you're going to go do? What is it you're excited about?
Cool. Well, Mike is going to come over here in just a little bit. And we're going to work on getting a couple of our songs down, because we're getting our live show kind of up and running. So that when we're called into performing, we've got a really awesome show that we can do live. So he's going to come over in a little bit. And then I've got about a 50-minute or hour-long YouTube video that's going to come out soon on my Ben Jaja channel, or Dumb Owl, or both. But it's like a 50-minute video about what it was like this last year in COVID for 6 days for me. So when the pandemic shut everything down, I just thought it was weird. I had my girlfriend's birthday, and then I knew I was going to go visit Uncle Bruce. And then I knew I was going to go pick up this puppy in Indiana as a job to bring it back. And I told the client that asked me to go do this for them, I said, hey, I'm happy to go get the puppy and do this thing. However, no, I can no longer do anything in life if I'm not filming it, or if I'm not turning it into some kind of a video, because that's what I do. So I'll go pick up the puppy if you give me permission to film it and make a video out of it. And they said, yeah, that's fine. And so what it turned into is like a 6 days of COVID. I think that's what I'm going to call it, but like 6 days of COVID, where I hang out with my girlfriend for her birthday. I then go visit my uncle for the last time, because he passed away a couple days after when I visited him. So it was the last time I got to be with him. And then I go pick up this puppy, and it's kind of like 6 days of all this stuff. And throughout the story, what I'm doing is I'm telling you all about Lovers United and Lovers Divided, the thing I made with Leah, the videos that I made with Leah that almost got to 20th Century Fox. And what I've done is I've written a feature film called Lovers United, the feature film. And that's a musical comedy that I've written that I'm wanting to produce. And so this little 15-minute video that I'm putting out is a little bit of a call to action, a little bit of a, hey, you're getting to know me, you're getting to relate to me, you're getting to understand a little bit more who I am behind the scenes of everything. And also you're getting to know about this project that I really want to see made. And so I create a couple avenues for people to support, whether it's me personally. And it's always hard for me to ask for support, and I'm starting to get better at it. But it's me asking for some support if you want to support me, or if you don't want to support me, but you want to support the film Lovers United, there's a way to then go and support that. So I introduce some of the music that's in the film. I introduce kind of what the story is of the film. And it's just kind of a way to kind of like get to know me a bit better and kind of get in touch with a little bit of my life so that we can all relate to each other. So that's actually a little past due. I was supposed to put that video out in April, so I'm a little bit behind. So I'm going to be putting that out very soon. And then, hey, I think the next thing that might happen might be we might film the next verse of Bad Math. We might even do that today. So we'll get verse 2 filmed so we can put out the second verse of Bad Math.
That is awesome. What kind of equipment do you, by the way, your videos are such high quality, man. I mean, really, really, really high quality. I really enjoy
Thank you.
them. Yeah. So what equipment do you use?
Yeah. So I'll help set some people up for success here. So this guy right here is my Sony A7S II camera body. So it's just this part. And then this lens on it right now is also another kind of heavy hitter. This is a Rokinon wide angle lens. This one helps me shoot a lot of things very wide so that you can see it. But this camera body is really good. It's also portable and compact, but it shoots in 4K. You can shoot raw footage so that you get a lot of information and can kind of colorize it later. So I use this a lot. I'll use this GoPro for underwater stuff or things if I'm trying to get a more of an, like an action angle. And this is a big one. This is my H6N Zoom microphone and recorder. So the biggest key to good video is good audio. If you want to make good looking projects, make sure they sound good first. It's something that a lot of people don't think about because they think about looking at things and what they're seeing, but 60% of your video is audio. So think about that always whenever you're making your video content, that if it doesn't sound good, nobody's going to want to watch it. Okay. So it doesn't matter how funny or whatever's going on. If it doesn't sound good, it's much harder to get people in there to watch and stick around. So take care of your audio, folks. That's something that I always like to tell people. And then what I plug into this girl right here is I plug in lavalier microphones that I'll attach to us actors underneath our shirts. So lavaliers will go into these 2 ports. And then if I have a shotgun microphone, which is just like a long skinny tube, that'll also go in there to make sure that we're capturing audio from microphone packs, the tube, various things, so that we make sure we get good audio. Then the other thing, and I'll show you right here, is good lighting. So lighting is super important. So right here to my right, I have a nice box light. So that's why you can kind of see me well lit here. And then up here, up in the sky, right up there, I got a little China ball, is what they're called. And I have a little tungsten bulb in there. But you know what it does, actually the lighting right now is a little dark on this side of my face, a little overexposed on this side of my face. But you know, good lighting is the other 20% of good video. You know, now that everybody has, and I also use my phone for a lot of our videos. And actually I don't really like some of how it controls too much of the lighting in the phone. So I try to use my camera as much as possible, but I do get bit by the lazy bug every once in a while, and I'll shoot on my phone. Yeah, so good lighting, couple of tricks. I mean, I'll tell you right now, the lighting, you know, for that China ball, it's probably a $25 investment. It's really not a big thing. Anybody can do it. These box lights came in a pack of 3 for $200 on Amazon. So that was something that I knew was a little bit more of an investment. But heck, I mean, I believe in myself so much in what I'm doing. I've invested. I'm in a considerable amount of debt, having over the years invested into the company. I mean, every single video that you see, the costumes, the wigs, the makeup, you know, for every 200 videos we've put out, there's probably 10 videos that we made that we didn't put out because they didn't make the cut. So, and then every once in a while, I got to pay friends or people that come in to do it. So, you know, it hasn't been a light financial task, but it's all in the realm of possibility. It's just a matter of going and doing it. And luckily, we live in a country where you can go and get yourself loans, or you can get banks to support you. If you've got an idea, if you've got a business that you want to make, if you've got something that you've always wanted to do, maybe you make cupcakes and you think they're the best. Well, we live in a country where you can go get money that's not your money, but you can go get it and borrow it and use it to start a business. And, you know, I think that more people should take advantage of that. And it's something that I've taken a little bit of advantage of, and I think I could probably take a little bit more advantage of it. But it's something that you know, because we live where we live, that's something that's available. So if you've got something in your heart that's stirring you, that makes you excited, follow that. That's something that's going to lead you to where you're meant to be. So take action.
I love it. And so as we begin to think about, you know, closing out, I'd hate to put you on the spot, but I bet you got a really funny song or something that you could sing to end it if you wanted to, right? Don't you got something that we could laugh as we kind of call it quits? You could play it for us? Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I got something.
Do that, man. Do that.
All right. Let's see here.
This has been a blast, by the way. I've totally enjoyed this. Totally enjoyed it.
All right. We'll end with this. Will, thank you so much. This was awesome. I appreciate you having me here. And to all the viewers of Marshall in the Middle, thank you for your service, or for your family member's service. Or if you aren't in the military and you're just somebody that came to Marshall in the Middle, and you're a civilian, if you will, thank you for being an awesome civilian, and for going out there and being a hero all on your own. So this song is, I don't play this one much, but when I do, it's always special. So I want us all to right now imagine you're in an animation movie, okay? You're in an animation movie and you're in like a dingy bar, like underground bar somewhere. And it's like kind of dank and moist, and it's not very crowded. There's not a lot of people in this bar. In fact, there are no people. They're all cats. Everybody that's in this bar are cats, or like ducks, or some kind of animal. But in this animation, everybody's an animal, okay? So you're an animal too if you're in this bar. And this song is all about the young cat finally getting his big break, okay? So it's called Old Mr. Smooty. Well, he's a big fat cat. They call him Old Mr. Smooty. His tail curls up as he rolls up a doobie A minor, set back to his Hollywood movie. But his club ain't packed, so he throws up the newbie. Blam, 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 blam. Meow, 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 meow. Now I'm the young cat on stage that he just threw up the newbie. Well, he's a big fat cat, they call him Old Mr. Smooty, cause his tail curls up as he's rolling up on a doobie minor. Sat back to his Hollywood movie, but his club ain't packed, so he went with the newbie. He's a big black cat, got a hole in his no. He goes like this. He goes like this. The young cat goes like this. He goes, I want to thank you very much for this golden opportunity, Mr. Smoothie, putting me up on your stage is like a dream come true. See, growing up as a busboy up in your club and then watching all of the greats like Sonny B and Bunny Yates, and I started racking my brain. I got in touch with my pain. I said to fuck with the fame. Now I'm about to bust my name. I got my spirit from my shame, and this is how I put my name down to the beat. A big fat cat that gone home. Mr. Smoothie goes and tail curls up as he rolling up on a doobie minor. Send back to his Hollywood movie. Now his club is jam packed. All thanks to the newbie. Meow.
Yeah. I love the A minor, man.
Right, and it goes there. It's in there. Yeah. You saw that. A minor set back to his Hollywood movie. Yep, that's right. You saw
I love it,
Woo!
dude. That is awesome, man. Thanks, Ben. It's been wonderful, buddy.
Will, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, love you guys. Bye all.
Love you. Love all.